Hey everybody, back again. And today, as I record, whether you knew it or not, probably not, there are exactly 100 days left in 2019. Yes, 2019 flew by. What was that? Oh, it's 2019. 100 days left until the year is over, until it's New Year's again, which means there are 100 days left to reach your goals for, your New Year's resolutions, your goals for the year. Goals are important. And so today, because there's 100 days left, it seemed fitting, nice round number, talk about goals, right? Why it's important to set goals, what your goals are, and how goals can help to motivate you to get to where you want to go, to reach those plateaus and to reach those finish lines that may seem unachievable now. But sometimes setting a goal is very, very important. So before I start, right, I guess I should answer the question myself. So what are my goals for the rest of the year? What do I want to do these next 100 days? Quite a lot. So I've met some of my goals already. One of my goals always is to get back into shape. And so now, because I have some more free time, that's terrible. I've been able to do that. So I've been working out very regularly these last, maybe just a month and a half, but feel pretty good. It's good to get back in the gym. It was just so hard of time. Again, I am a single father with near full custody. And so just having my daughter all the time, very difficult to go work out, I guess. I could get a gym membership, but then I got to pay for care for her, and my apartment complex I'm in has a gym now, so why pay for something I already have access to? So anyway, fitness and been working out, so that's one thing I've already accomplished so much. I left teaching, so last year was school year. I wanted to leave the profession and start working on some of my ideas and projects and startups, so I've done that. And that's another video. We'll get to some results on that. But I did take the plunge. I've been wanting to leave for a long time. Just was never able to. And so took the plunge, of course, this summer. And no longer am teaching. That's given me time to do these videos. That's given me time to work on some of my projects and stuff that I'm busy doing every day. Will that continue? We'll see. My other goal is I would like to leave this apartment. So I came here after my divorce a couple years ago. It was just a single small bedroom apartment. The idea was it was temporary. I kind of on purpose wanted to put myself in a uncomfortable position so I wouldn't get too used to it. And, going through divorce is very messy and time consuming. Everything's just twisted and tangled in a mess. So just get a place for my daughter and I, and kind of, a place that we could not hibernate, but just kind of get back on our feet and get back to where I want to be with regards to my life and position and income and stuff like that. So unfortunately, we've been here longer than I wanted to be. And so I would like to be out of here by end of the year if possible. That's a big goal. To be able to afford a place that we can, not be in an apartment anymore. So that's one of my goals. And I guess my last one is just to start, all these projects and stuff, which I'll talk about in other videos. I haven't made a point to do so on purpose, but have them start generating some income and start doing well. It takes time. It takes patience. That's hard for me. You work hard on something and you want results right away. But it's very important to stay level, to stay even-keeled, and to just kind of, be progressing constantly. Which, these YouTube videos in the channel has been actually pretty helpful. It's been nice. It's kind of a good anchor for me, I found, since I started this about a month ago, is to just, it's a constant, something constant that I do daily. It's part of my routine now. I can feel productive. It doesn't take too much time, so it's not a strain on my productivity. But just being accountable and sticking with this has helped me stay on track with my other projects and stuff like that. So that's been good. So those are my goals, I guess you could say. So got half done, still working on the other half, right? Speaking of goals, though, why is it important to have goals? I don't care what you're trying to do, getting back to the point of the video here. If you're trying to launch a startup, right? If you're trying to build a website, if you're trying to go to the gym and get back in shape, if you want to get a promotion at your job, right? If you want to go and get whatever you want to do, it is super important to set goals, right? To clearly kind of identify what it is you want to achieve, like what does success look like? How do you know when you've gotten to that point? And also it's super important to put a time frame on that, right? We're always busy. Everyone's constantly running a race and going 100 miles per hour in all these different directions. But how many people actually know, what they're running towards, right? You got to have a finish line. You got to have something to look forward to. You got to have a goal. And what does that look like? And again, what is it? It's up to you. But if you don't set goals, and you probably have seen this, maybe you've done this, you just end up running in circles, right? You're constantly going somewhere, but is it where you want to go? Is what you're doing getting you closer to your accomplishment? Without a goal, that's very hard to do. So it's super important to set goals just because it gives you some kind of accountability, right? It gives you a time frame. At this point, I'm going to stop, kind of maybe reassess where I'm at. It doesn't mean, I want to stress, it doesn't mean you always have to meet your goal. It's totally fine in most cases to not, right? Especially when if you're able to, if time's not a worry, sometimes you're like, well, there's no rush. Why should I, bend over backwards and bust my ass for something? If there's no rush. If time's not a worry, I'll take my time. I'll get there when I'm ready, right? But that can come back and bite you in the butt because you're like, having too much time can end up hurting you, right? You end up procrastinating, or you're not maybe working as hard as you could, but you're not being as honest with yourself. And again, you're busy and working on tons of stuff, but you're not maybe trying to get to where you want to be. You don't have that goal post. You don't have that finish line. And what's the worst thing that happens? You don't meet your goal. Okay, well, you're probably, hopefully, closer than you were before when you started. So just, like I said, reassess and okay, I didn't quite make it. Hopefully you're close. Maybe you have a better understanding now of what it will actually take to reach that goal. What I was doing before wasn't working. Just working weekends on my ideas wasn't enough, right? Maybe 2 hours a night, and maybe I need to, stay up later or get someone to help me reach my goals, right? So, whatever you're doing, maybe it is working. It's just, you were too ambitious and you were, trying to accomplish it too early. But having goals is super, super important because, again, it gives you direction, right? It gives you a timetable. And if you don't meet it, again, it's totally fine as long as you are getting closer to that goal. Maybe things change. And maybe when you get, when that time expires, you realize, what? This really isn't what I thought it would be. Maybe this idea of mine, this project, isn't that important in my life right now, and that's fine. You know what? Maybe it's time to transition, to pivot, to move on to something else, instead of just constantly kind of having this thing like on your shoulders or in the back of your mind. Having a goal, it's kind of like, well, now it's time to put up or shut up, right? Do I keep going or do I transition to something else, or what? Fish or cut bait? I'm not a fisherman. I don't know what it's like. But again, like I said, very, very important to set goals for those reasons. Because if you don't, it can come back and bite you. I've had a lot of projects in the past. I didn't set goals, right? I didn't want the pressure. I didn't want to feel rushed. Especially when you have people working for you in this project I'm thinking of, which I'll talk about later. Anyway. It's just kind of like, hey, as long as we're working, we're doing good, guys, and we keep getting closer to this, ideal, and we're getting closer to our accomplishment. But I never set like hard goals with my team, and so what happens is we did a lot of work, but it wasn't always focused, it wasn't structured, it wasn't always beneficial. And what happened is this big project of mine, I tried to lead development on a video game. There you go, right? I'll talk about it. But was trying to actually make a video game. Weird, right? And it was my fault as the leader of the project. I didn't set reasonable goals. I didn't set enough goals. And so my team had plenty to do, but they really didn't know what was prioritized. They didn't know what needed to be done first, because I didn't, like I said, I didn't want to put more pressure on them. But it's one of the big things looking back, I think, that really like killed development of that video game. Is just that I wasn't as strong a leader as I could have been because I wasn't setting goals, or the goals were super wishy-washy and very weak. And when people didn't meet those goals, I wasn't holding them accountable as much as I should have been, right? So it's like, oh, again, we're not in a rush, and well, we can get it done next week, and that starts to become a habit. That starts to become the norm, and that kind of sabotaged the team cohesiveness and productivity. And because again, we knew what we wanted to do, but we just didn't have really firm goals in place. And that's on me. So looking back now, I'm very big on goals, because without them, like I said, you're busy and you work, but you don't know what direction you're going into. Does that make sense? Okay. Anyway, to end, I was going to do it earlier. Hey, what are your goals, right? 100 days left, 2019, time, it will go by fast. It always does. So have you met the goals that you set for yourself at the beginning of the year? The stuff that you're working on now, any projects you may be doing, or end of the year goal, how close are you to them? And what do you need to do personally in these last 100 days to reach those goals and to find the success that you want to, right? So I guess trying to light a fire, that's my lighter, light a fire under people, and hey, time is running out. So work on those goals, be productive, set goals, get in the habit of setting goals, because it is a good tool that you can use to get to where you want to be. And like I said, without goals, you just end up getting lost. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. Come on, get out of here. All right, I got stuff to do. I know you do too. And thanks for watching. I'll catch you later tomorrow.